I joined the production because I thought it was a really funny play, and the fact that I get to play like multiple characters with different accents and different situations, I thought it was really funny. So yeah, I was totally game for it.
I was delighted to be asked to direct the play, and getting to do a world premiere is a great treat, and getting to do a comedy that is so wonderfully silly and a celebration of writing, I really was excited about.
I was drawn to Bestseller for the physical comedy aspect. I love physical comedy, and the idea of getting to play 4 different people was really fun for me. I also always wanted to work with ICT, and I'm so happy that I get to do it with this show.
How is ICT, the theater, unique differently from other productions you worked in the facility? Why is it such a unique place to perform a play?
Well, first of all, ICT is in a terrific physical plant, and the notion that it's a size of a theater that it is, that there's a volume to it, but at the same time the audience feels very, very close to the performance space, and I think that's a wonderful and exciting opportunity for this play and for actors and for an audience to see the play.
I think Jane really said it. What I'm thinking in terms of, even though what I love about this space is that even though it's a big space, there's so much intimacy to it, and anytime I've auditioned on that stage or come and seen a show there, even though it's big and beautiful, there's always, you feel right there with the action, which is really, really cool.
Tell me about the start of the play. Why is the landlady offering this writer's retreat to these 3 writers at this isolated cottage?
I think that the notion of a writer's retreat, I think a lot of people have a romantic idea of, I want to be the next great writer, I want to write the novel or something. And the notion of a retreat, I think, is intriguing. And I think because it's set in England, there is sort of a mythology about, oh, we're going to go out into the lake country and we're going to write great books. It's a great gathering place, and all kinds of people can be there. So I think that the collection of writers that appear in the play, and then the kinds of the kinds of books that these writers are creating, is really, really broad and really wide, and great fun.
Tell me about the different characters you 2 play in the Bestseller.
We play a lot of different characters. I play, my first character is Sergio. He's a Spanish sailor. He's kind of stuck in that romantic comedy, like, you know, those books that you see at the grocery store with the really very risque covers. He's that guy on there. So we were going against typeability and castability with that one. Then we go into like a murder mystery suspense, and I get to play a Scottish henchman, which is very fun. He's a very sensitive guy, even though he looks very scary. And then I play, well, the 3rd and 4th character are kind of the same people, but there's a little surprise in there for you. But it's mostly like your typical kitchen sink, you know, dramedy of this couple that just cannot stop loving to fight each other all the time. Yeah, they're all very different characters physically and emotionally, where they live in these worlds and from what the writers wrote, which is fun to like bring those genres to, you know, the stage and into our bodies.
I start off with Jessica, who is British, and she's in the romance novel, and I lovingly refer to her as a ding-dong. She is not the brightest, but she has a lot of sass, and she's so much fun to play. And then there's Maya, who is in the kind of crime thriller book, and she's German, and she's very strong. She doesn't put up with a lot of ridiculous things, and her henchman that she just hired is being very ridiculous. And yeah, I'll save the 3rd and 4th. There's a little thing in there, but yeah, I'm the wife in the husband and wife duo.
Their appearance certainly is drastically different. They're both extraordinarily gifted actors and very facile with accents and physical sensibilities of who these people are. And I think that's part of what is going to be such a treat for an audience, is to see two actors playing this really diverse menu of characters in the course of the play. But they are very different, vocally, physically, and certainly in terms of how they present themselves in terms of costuming.
It's a play about writing. Tell me more how this is different from other plays and stories that's talking about the writing process.
When I first read the script, I was like, oh, okay, so this is all about like writers writing and stuff. And then when the scene comes where like the books come to life, it was such a nice little treat, a nice little twist where I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. Like, and then to kind of going back to your last question about where they all live, I think it's all such a physically different world. Like each book is so different, so we get to really explore like those genres. So it feels like I'm in a completely different play than the writers, you know, than with the writers. But yeah.
I think what makes this play different from other plays or movies about writers is the fact that you actually get to experience what they're writing. A lot of times it's about the process, but you never actually get to hear what they're writing about, and not only hear it, but we get to see their characters. And even though they're totally separate, we're still discovering the things that are happening in the real world and how they show up in the characters' worlds, and to see like the sides of this writer is coming out in this character that they're writing. So I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before, which is awesome.
I think you're absolutely right. I've never seen anything like this, in that the format, the framework is the retreat, and each writer's struggles and successes about writing are embedded in the play. But the explosion of the books to be materialized within that world, I don't know that I've ever witnessed anything quite like this. So it'll be a really new experience for audiences.
Being a world premiere, is there more pressure on the production to get it right for the writer?
Doing a world premiere is one of the greatest privileges as artists. And also it's challenging because there's no record to go back to. Or I wonder what they did in the last production. Well, we don't have a last. We are the first production. And our playwright lives in the Canary Islands. So we're hoping, and he's written a lot of very detailed information within the text that we're looking at and we're using. So we'll be eager to see what he thinks when he sees photographs, or because he's not going to be able to join us, unfortunately. But we hope that he would be very, very pleased.
When the play ends, what do you want the audience to take from it?
Well, we all have stories to tell, don't we? And the notion of imagining a writer's journey, I think people can think about that. There's a mystery that the end of the play, there's a bit of a cliffhanger at the end, and I would love for people to be talking about, well, what do you think the last moment, what would be the next moment after the play ends? And I think that'll be a great conversation starter.
And lastly, tell me why the Southern California community should go see the bestseller.
Because it's new works, which I think everyone should support new theater and new playwrights and new plays. And it's funny. It's a nice less than 2 hours of just lighthearted fun, and you get to really think about it. I don't know. There's just a lot of hidden gems in it, which are fun to play and fun to see.
I second that. I think people should come and see this show for the humor. I think that laughter is so powerful, and it's healing, and it's wonderful, and everybody needs to do that. And there's a lot of skill that's happening on stage. A lot of times you think, oh, comedy's easy, but we're working really hard and putting a lot of energy into it, and I think people would feel that, like, oh my gosh, those actors really worked hard for that, to put on such a fun play. And it's a great experience.
I hope people come and see it, not only to see the play, but also to see the quality of the work that's being done at ICT. It's really, really impressive, and I am very grateful for my first time working with ICT.